That little move under the front line is what she does, but it doesn't.
Welcome to World Chase Tag. It's WCT6 France, the first ever French national championship, and we're focusing on the women's competition. 4 teams from all over this hotbed nation of World Chase Tag fighting it out to become the first ever French national champions. I'm Dan Dawson, this is Greg Ball, 3-time world champion. We've got West Coast family from Tours, we've got Parkour 59 from Roubaix, we've got the team from Lyon in Kimeo, and we've got Urban Core Nano, who are the sister team for Urban Core Mambo, who are competing in the Open Tournament. The tournament got underway yesterday, so we have seen all of these teams in action once already. And from what we've seen, Urban Core are going to take some stopping. A convincing 4-0 win against West Coast family, and they didn't even use their leading lady, Leia Marionette, until the very end. We have waited and waited, and now she is here, but can she finish them?
Oh, she's smiling! She's smiling as she heads into the loading bay. Absolutely terrifying stuff from Leia Marionette, the team captain.
For me, from Leia's point of view, it's just the sick little smile she's got in her face. She loves chase tag and she loves chasing people down. And we're seeing that out of the one performance that we've had so far, Dan. You know when a team is reserving a particular athlete and they come out and smash it like that, that is the player to watch, Dan.
Yeah, exciting stuff. However, the other match we've seen was a lot closer. It did look like Kimeo were in control. Back-to-back evasions from Ava Yamani, but it very nearly turned around at the end. Right at the end, you could see when Parkour 59 very nearly forced sudden death.
Kimeo Volt's captain Marior comes in. We saw her with a couple of really aggressive dives through the bars to make a tag earlier on in this one, and she panther-like stands up at the top of the tilted cube. But in the end, she has to duck out of it, and about more than half the time he's gone here. This could go level, and it could go sudden death. There's a little shimmy and a shake, and she didn't go, and Marior makes it count. And Kimeo Volt, who looked to be in control for so much of this, only squeaked through by 1 point in the end.
That's a missed opportunity for them, and they know it.
Oh, of course. And the emotion that you saw off the back of that is what makes this so prevalent. They had an incredible start to this competition in the qualifying matches, which gave them a bit of confidence. But I think we're just seeing that slip on such a big stage. Remember, this is the first time that any of these teams have been on such a big stage before. So getting those pre-match nerves out of the way is going to be a big thing going forward.
Massive opportunity. These girls have been champing at the bit to compete in this tournament. They are ready to go with a continuation of the group phase. We have got Kimeo Volt versus West Coast family coming up in just a moment. Kimeo Volt, the team from Lyon, a team that's had its own quad for years and years and years, longer than anybody else in this tournament. Does that give them the edge, particularly with the experience of playing proper tournament play with Clémence Benoit and Ava Yamani, who formerly were on the Riot team, who played that exhibition match, the first ever women's game at York Hall at the World Championship a few years ago, Greg?
Yeah, and both amazing competitors in their own right, but my focus today is on Marior, with some incredible dive tags earlier on in their first 2 matches that they had out here.
Well, it was a narrow win for Kimeo Volt against Parkour 59 in their opener. West Coast family were taken to the cleaners, a 4-0 defeat at the hands of Urban Core Nano. Can the Hopkins sisters, Elizabeth and Zoe, turn things around for them and get them back into this tournament?
And look, Dan, this is the youngest team that we've seen in, so I'm not expecting hugely different results. However, we did see some incredibly aggressive play from Zoe Hopkins, and I am going to be focusing on her today to see if she can really build on that momentum, Dan.
Well, it is Zoe Hopkins who's going to lead off for West Coast family, but it's Ava Yamani who has secured back-to-back evasions in their 2-1 win over Parkour 59. Looking to get on the quad as an evader herself. She slammed into the loading bay there. And she dives through by the ridge and makes the tag. Good recovery, although she bust her lip on the way.
I think she split her lip on the tilted cube as she went down for the little thread over there. And remember, as you said, Dan, she has a quad to practice on, so she should be used to and familiar to these spaces. But it doesn't matter how much you practice, you can have a small slip and you can still mess yourself up like that. Credit where credit's due for going for the second shoot through on the loading bay over here and securing the tag instead of walking off.
Yeah, fat lip, but gets the tag. Gets to stay on and starts by the ridge as Alicia comes in trying to track her down. Gets a little bit tangled up. Oh, nice little move across the platforms there. evidently not feeling too dazed after that bang off the loading bay earlier, and Ava ducks under the ridge and goes cross quad again, and this is looking good. 2 seconds to go, little Benny Hill around the tilted cube, and that'll do it. It's another point for Ava Yamani, her third of this tournament.
Quickly becoming the biggest evasion scoring athlete here today. Unfortunately, Alicia, with her inexperience, just shadowing, just following, just playing cat and mouse, essentially. She needs to be trying to gain center control and cut off those angles rather than chase and follow.
Well, it is the team captain for West Coast family, Elizabeth Hopkins, who comes in now after Zoe was sent out early, and Ava looking to go back-to-back for the second game running. A nice little bit of work. She weaves away around the ridge and heads off to the protection of the tilted cube, and she threatens to go one way, then the other, and then back the original way and under the mountain and round by the loading bay, and now she can waste time, and it's another evasion. It is back-to-back for back-to-back games for Ava.
Ava using her quad knowledge and core IQ to really get these complex, high IQ obstacles in the way of her and Lizzie over there. Now, if I'm the team, yeah, there it is. Calm down. Let's get Ava back on the sidelines, and let's give some of the other athletes a chance to warm up.
Well, in comes Amelia, looking to stop Ava Yamani, who got on the quad, bust her lip, and then it's just been flawless since then. And she manages to just nip off around the front line, and a dive comes in, and it was desperation, and I think she's just given up. That was it. She felt that was the only chance, and maybe, well, evidently there's an injury there, which is what has held her back. I thought there might be more time to get another opportunity, but evidently not. If she's done a knee or foot.
I know she's been struggling with a hip flexor and an ankle, but it looks like the ankle just went over there. I wonder how much more this is going to affect a team of 4, now probably down to a team of 3 against a team of Ava.
Wow. Ava has managed to just tosses away that tissue where she was mopping up the blood and ultimately tosses away that chase. She is tagged, and Zoe Hopkins will stay on the quad as evader, but Ava Yamani has done the hard work. She's put her team 3-0 up.
Yeah, and now it's time to see athletes like Vivian coming through, Andrea coming through, athletes which haven't had too much time. Now is their time to shine before the bigger match later on.
Well, you say that, but Kimeo took an early lead in their opening game and nearly threw it away. So they have been warned. And lovely, lovely stuff. Didn't follow under the front line. Just knew she was going into an open corner. Pick your moment.
Yeah, and this is it from Zoe. They don't have a solid quad to train. They've been touring around all of the French quads, but that quad experience and that looking around is what gives you the lead which Clem just had over there, that comfortability.
Well, you could see there the West Coast family are definitely down to just 3 players, and a hard task has got even harder with Clemence. Oh, just ducks out the way of that one and then sets off. Absolutely incredible work there. It was almost taunting her. Stood there, waiting for the tag, ducked out the way of it, swung out the way, and then set off, while West Coast just got tangled up in the bars.
Yeah, Clem idling beautifully there, waiting for the correct opportunity, which is when Alicia got stuck in the bars. Look at that. Are you going to go? Are you going to go? No, you're going to get out. Now I'm going to take my opportunity to make a break across the front line. Textbook stuff from Clem.
Well, that's the thing. You can get in a good position to potentially make the tag, but you've still got work to do after that. And Alicia was not able to do it. Clemence looking to go back-to-back herself. And this, little stumble, but just about gets away with it. Under the ridge, and off she goes. And she stops and goes again, and this is looking pretty good. Just a couple of seconds to go under the sisters, and that will do it. All those bars at the tilted cube coming to her aid, and Kimeo Volt are 5-0 up now.
Yeah, Liz looks absolutely gassed over there, but credit where credit's due. She's no longer just following around, she's relaxing into it. She's waiting for the opportunity to strike, and then when she's unsuccessful, instead of just chasing, you see here, she cuts back into the ridge, rather than blindly chasing around.
Well, this is turning into a hammering for West Coast family, but they do manage to make the tag there, and Clement's little run comes to an end, but another couple of points for her have put Kimeo Volt in total control of this. They are not going to let this slip.
Yeah, nice to see that they're going to send in Vivian next. She hasn't been seen on the quad today. Give her some confidence, give her some warm-up time.
Viviana Silva, first chance to get on the quad. Hops up into the tilted cube, just trying to flush her woman out, and does do so, but can't force an opportunity to make the dive. Can she get one by the ridge? No, she can't. She reaches out, and Zoe's already gone. But she does come through the loading bay to make the tag.
That was great body positioning there by Vivian as well. Positioned herself in the loading bay, whereby she was easily enough to step down on the right-hand foot, just in case Zoe went backwards, which she did, and she managed to block off that direction and get Zoe right where she wanted her for the tag on the open side.
And it does mean it's match point. Kimeo squeaked through their opening game. There is no squeaking here. It is convincing stuff. As Viviana shimmies and shakes by the ridge, then goes across the quad. West Coast struggling to just prolong this match as Viviana reaches out. No, oh, tag is claimed and given, it turns out.
And that's the second time that she's made a tag over there on that little table by the ridge, utilizing her height and her reach, which it looks like Kimeo athletes aren't quite expecting or ready for. Look at that, beautiful work over there. It was very close to missing it, but very good to get it.
Well, a little bit of instruction coming from Ava there to Andrea. What's she saying? Tagger, I assume. And she very nearly does there by the loading bay, but she's up quickly and trying to force another chance. Drops down from the sisters, and it always looked like she had an advantage there, and that will wrap it up. A convincing victory for Kimeo Volt. Well, they weren't convincing in their opener. That was pretty convincing, and Kimeo Volt right now are top of the table. They are giving himself a real chance of becoming the first ever French national champs.
Did you have fun out there?
Yeah, clearly. Everybody. Yeah.
It's alright.
That's her way to have fun.
Okay, tomorrow is your biggest matchup, right? Tomorrow you've got Urban Corp Nano.
Well, it's another match.
Just another match. So that's your thinking, right?
Yeah,
Just
that's
another match.
Another match. Always the same spirit for each match. That's all.
Parkour 59, the open team, are one of the forces in World Chase Tag. But the women have some living up to do. It's a team of siblings, the Ligresi sisters, who are sisters of Bilal, a established competitor in World Chase Tag, and Rachel Ouali as well. They really gave Kimeo a run for their money, nearly turned it round, having gone 2-0 down. But against Urban Core Nano, this team looked like they could be title favourites, and we've not even seen much of Leia Marionette, the team captain, who everybody has been talking about ahead of this.
Yeah, we've only seen half of the athletes coming through here. We've seen a bit of Fanny, a bit of Melis, and a bit of Leah. Yasmin came out once, I think, so I'm excited to see how the team really come together now and how they strategically play each athlete to their strengths to win this match.
Well, Mais will start for Urban Core with team captain for Parkour 59, Asia, one of the two Ligresis, kicking things off. Just sort of ducks out of that move by the loading bay and gets into the tilted cube, but Mais has already gone. And she's waiting and waiting and waiting. We saw that move a number of times, and it's worked for her again. In the opening match, she'd show one way, then the other, keep going back and forth, and then set off. And it's worked for her to get the first point on the board for Urban Core.
It's tactic reverse herding coming through here, Dan. It's when you get your opponent to edge a certain way around a certain obstacle, which is going to give you the best chance of escaping. She didn't quite do it near the lazy boy there. I thought that was going to be game over for her.
Or can Mais go back to back? It is Maria Ligresi, the younger sister, the youngest competitor in this one. Racing around the outside, but doesn't look like she's quite got the pace to keep with Mais. She's going to have to be smart. How is she going to craft an opportunity? She's not managing it. She doesn't manage it. It's 2-0 Urban Core.
Just doesn't quite have it in the tank, does Maria over there. But a lovely little confidence boost again there from Melis. What I would be doing now as the team captain of Urban Corp Nano is, again, pull her out and start thinking about playing like Yasmin, for example, Roxanne. Give them some experience on the quad.
Well, Salome is the choice for Parkour 59 now. And it's a start by the ridge for Melis, who sets off to the cover. And there's that move. Keeps on, jinking one way, then the other. And it works out, and Salome is struggling to come up with a plan. But there's a plan, and there's a dive, and there's a tag as well.
Yeah, she should be very proud of that one there. She actually set herself up beautifully on the tilted cube, to do that preparedness to go one way or the other. But it looks like she just lost her footing as she came off the back of it over here. Just slipped out, losing it. So well done for keeping that resilient effort through and getting the tag on the side of the loading bay where everyone else seems to be getting tagged today.
Well, good little maneuver through there. Aha, now.
Here we go.
Leia Marionette, the team captain, comes in and wow. Okay, we're dealing with an absolute panther here, aren't we? And a smiling one at that.
A smile and a skip down. She had her in the palm of her hands. Look at that. Just threads her way through the ridge, ready for the open tag. Oh, I'm excited to see how the rest of this match goes up. Will we see anyone else step on the quad except Leia today?
Well, all right, that's a big old call at Chase 5, isn't it? But let's see. Leia Marionette heads off. The number 1 on her back. And looking every inch, the number 1 at the minute. Look at this, just keeping, it's like a force field around her. Rachel can't get close to her. And shimmies and shakes and sets off under the ridge. And I mean, there was miles between them. There was no danger, there was no threat.
There was some fantastic leading going on there by Leia, which we haven't seen in the open division. Look at the way she steps. Look, it's not just the Benny Hill, it's the going back underneath. It's coming through the mountain. She's using areas of the quad which the men's in the open division don't typically use.
Well, Urban Core, spirits are high. As Leia, their team captain, starts underneath the mountain and heads towards the tilted cube and now goes back under the mountain, manages to keep up that space despite ducking under those bars. Similar little maneuver under the ridge and now waiting, constantly waiting, nearly. Oh, there was a little tag. Was it a snipe tag on their hand?
Yeah, and I think, to be fair, my gut says that was accidental, but either way, she successfully executed it. She steps away through the bars. Leia's obviously not looking and focusing on that hand on the little table over there. Yeah, just over here, steps through, faces the other way. Leia thinks she's in the clear, hand on the bars. Little hand comes through, just about reaches. I think she was reaching for the table to pull herself around. And
well, either way, it worked out. Those cheeky little snipe tag on the hands, you often see them. Doesn't matter if it's intentional or not, it's an intentional tag, and there's real intent there from Fanny Le Tourferry, who goes through the bars but doesn't make contact, but she's just waiting, and in the end she gets caught out. It looked like she was in a good position and then got stuck chasing through the sisters, and Asia gets a point on the board for Parkour 59. That is the first point that Urban Core conceded in this tournament.
Okay, now we're talking indeed. Unfortunately, Fanny just missing that first shoot through the loading bay over here. Excellent work by Parkour 59 to gallop on the side of the perimeter board there, maximizing the amount of space you've got between you and the chaser at that point.
And in the end, Asia could just stand there and watch as Fanny couldn't reach. Asia sets off again. And now she moves away. Under the ridge and over by the front line. Does not want to hang around there, so she keeps on going, and it's under the sisters. As Yasmin tries to hunt her down, and she goes through the mountain, and there's a real move there, and she's claiming the tag. She is claiming the tag, and the lights go green. Interesting. This might be a DTI. In fact, there we go. There's the confirmation.
Disputed tag review, Dan. This is the slow-mo footage of little tags which happen like that. It's not always obvious to feel a tag, especially if it's on a foot as an evader. So it's up to the chaser to make the tag obvious. And when you find a situation where neither of the tags are obvious, you then go to our expert team of refs and our slow-mo video cameras to have a little look and see what happened behind the scenes.
Well, a lot of confused faces amongst the teammates, and I'll be honest, it's similar to me. Now, where is the tag? Is it on the foot underneath the mountain, or is it further on? Let's see. There's the first move, and the first dive, and it not made contact there. Ooh.
I think that's the one which Yasmin is calling for at the back end over there, but to be honest, I'm not convinced. I'm definitely not convinced.
Now, reminder, the chaser has to make the tag obvious. If they do not make it obvious enough, or there is not conclusive evidence, then evasion will be given.
This is what I'm talking about.
And it is an evasion. This could be a comeback, an unlikely comeback.
Arguably, that was a very bad decision for Yasmin to call that if she wasn't 100% convinced, because now what we have is Asia with a lot of confidence and rest going into this, although it is Leia she's stepping up against.
Well, Leia Marionette, Urban Core are in charge of this one. They've been pegged back to just 3-2, and there's a slip there from Leia, but what a recovery from her.
Dan, that wasn't a slip.
No?
Watch the way she enters the quad. She stalks it first of all. 1 foot goes on the floor, 1 foot goes into the cube, and that prepares her for in case she has to go either way. I haven't seen this from the Opens tournament, Dan. This is incredible. Look,
You reckon that's intentional?
Yes,
losing
and now
the foot off the tilted
yes, so
cube
she can dart out underneath the mountain like that.
Well,
That was incredible work there from Leia.
Well, can Leia, who starts in the open before heading off under the mountain, can she re-establish a bit of a gap, a bit of daylight between these two teams? Under the mountain to the loading bay, and there's another little trot round because Leia is doing very, very well at keeping that distance between her and her chaser, and she's done it again. It's another effortless evasion.
Yeah, this is the Leia that we all came to see here today. I want to point out a point quickly. Just by the tilted cube, you see Leia getting ready, and she starts slapping the cube, just trying to distract or provide a bit of confidence and dominance into this game right here. I love it when athletes start doing stuff like that, Dan.
Was that a few words of wisdom from Loïc Georgie from the sidelines there for Leia? Doesn't look like she needs any, to be honest, because she goes under the ridge, and again, control. She's not expending a great deal of effort, but that nice little move under the front line and then sets off, and now she realises she has to put the jets on, does do, and builds up that gap again. And she keeps on going, and that is another one, an Urban Core. They were 3-0 up, they were pegged back to 3-2, but then just when things were getting dangerous, they send in the team captain, and all of a sudden they're 3 points clear and it's match point.
And how do you stop something like that? Dan, you need to go back to center control and force Leia to the lazy boy side. That's the lowest EQ side of this quad over here, and your best bet in catching an incredible athlete like Leia.
Well, Salome has to tag Leia Marionette, or Urban Core win this by 6-2, and it will be a hat-trick for Leia. That little move under the front line once again to build up the space, and under the mountain. Now by the tilted cube, hangs onto the bar and sets off back under the mountain. It's looking very, very good. It's looking too good. It's looking magnificent from Leia Marionette. She has seen off Parkour 59 just when they were threatening to drag themselves back into the game.
And valiant performance by Parkour 59 there. The rest of it, Urban Corp Nano almost looking a bit bored at the fact that Leia's out there continuously getting all of these evasions. They're desperate for a chance to prove themselves as well out here, Dan.
Well, Leia Marionette, the team captain, 4 evasions, including 3 in a row. She is going to be a real danger as Urban Core Nano set themselves up for a title shootout with Kimeo. You're watching World Chase Tag and the National French Championship. 2 more teams are getting ready to go on the quad.
With Parkour 59, we've trained with them a couple of times as well. They're super fun girls to train with. Yes, we did compete with them last 2 weeks ago in Roubaix. They have some really, really strong players.
The match for West Coast family, it's, I think, easy because we have strong athletes on my team. And it's easy, it's okay.
Looking forward to playing them again. I fell on my ass, so I'm trying not to fall on my ass again this time. So we see how that goes.
So Parkour 59 and West Coast family fighting it out to avoid the bottom spot in the group and finish in 3rd. We have seen Parkour 59 secure evasions against both Kimeo and Urban Core. West Coast family haven't even evaded in this tournament so far, and they are down a player, but Zoe Hopkins starts off for them and goes under the sisters, and the tag comes in just before she disappears around the corner.
Camille using some of that gymnastic ability and power to really power her way through the underneath of the sisters over there, Dan. She's used to the pressure of competitions like this, so I'm assuming and I'm hoping that she'll gain a bit more confidence and relax into this and hopefully get an evasion.
Well, West Coast family are asking a lot of the 3 fit players that they've got, but it is Alicia who comes in here trying to track down Camille, who hangs around by the lazy boy. Doesn't want to be there too long, so she isn't. She sets off, and she's quick enough to get away and under the ridge and ducks out before going under the mountain, goes across the quad, and a hop down the middle of the quad is not going to help Alicia, and it is the first point on the board.
Yeah, Alicia just blindly following over there. You can tell the inexperience coming through. You can tell that she's a bit tired. She's not really thinking too far ahead. Well, Chase Tag is a game of chess, Dan. You got to plan your moves, and you got to think strategically. You cannot just straight out shoot for your evader.
Well, the one thing that is going to be for certain is they'll get plenty of chances with Amelia ruled out due to injury from the last game. West Coast are going to be cycling through the 3 players they have very regularly, but that is excellently done from Zoe Hopkins. had a real pace around the front line to make the tag.
We saw some of that pace in her previous matchup, but it's nice to see her really utilizing that now. She needs to understand that strength, try get the evader on that straight more, and use that additional speed to really chase down the points.
Salome selected for Parkour 59. Zoe just ducks into the mountain. Now there's that pace to get to the tilted cube, but then she stops and she waits. Important. Looks like they're not doing anything, but they're wasting time, and she wastes a little bit of time there, but decides she doesn't want to hang around too much. The ridge, under it twice, and now to the mountain. And that is a point for West Coast family, their first of the tournament. They level this one up, and Melanie is down with the team.
Les filles, dites-moi, est-ce qu'avec cette nouvelle évasion, vous reprenez confiance? Ah mais totalement, on avait confiance dès le début. Confiance. C'est ça que je veux. Et vous êtes que 4 là à jouer? Wow, je vais réfléchir un peu. Eh non mais je suis désolée, mais un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour ces filles là.
Yeah, it is some effort from West Coast family to come back into this with just the 3 players, but they are into this and they have their first point of the tournament. They are not going down without a fight. Who knows? They could be signing off with a win. And Zoe Hopkins using the ridge again, just doing lengths basically up and down that side. Now she decides to change tack and goes all around the front line, and there's that pace. Lovely little move over the bar, a little duck under that platform, and I thought she was going to get away. The tag is made with less than half a second to go.
19.6 seconds, Dan, and both these athletes giving it their absolute all. Look, I can't say much about that. If it was me, I would have put in a slightly taller athlete in, maybe Asia against Zoe over here. But credit where credit's due, that was phenomenal, Dan.
Well, it was Maria, the younger of the Legracie sisters, who is genuinely shocked at how quickly she was tagged there by West Coast captain Elizabeth.
Deer in the headlights there. And look at the positioning. I'm seeing this a lot from the female athletes here, Dan. They set themselves up to be able to step either way, and it's successfully working for them. Well done, Liz. That was a great, great tag. Get an evasion off the back.
Celia comes in. Oh, wow. And that is not a great introduction. Just falling over in the middle of the quad, but she's managed to regain her footing, but she needs to regain her composure. Seems to be smart enough to take the centre control and force an opportunity, but that was perhaps the chance because she's getting away, and that puts West Coast into the lead. This is astonishing.
This is not what I was expecting at all, Dan, but something that West Coast family should be proud of as they enter the back half of these chases over here, Dan. Once again, the reason why the tag wasn't made is it's just blindly following the blind over there. But you can see the emotion coming through from Parkour 59, Dan. It means so much to them.
Yeah, you can see this may be a fight for third place, but there is a lot on the line here, and who knows, this could be decisive in getting one of these teams to the World Championship in a few months' time. Elizabeth Hopkins does not add to the tally. She may have just been a little bit gassed after being on the quad for the last 2 chases.
Yeah, the superior speed coming through across the front court over there. While Zoe has a bit more speed as an advantage, unfortunately Liz isn't quite as matched as an athlete.
In comes Rachel for Parkour 59 to try and level the score. There's a dive over the top of the tilted cube. It does not make contact. And there's a big old gap here at the minute, and Rachel is looking to preserve that gap. She waits, she gets stuck there, and the tag is made. Well, she went from being in such a great position to a really, really bad one really quickly.
Yeah, just a little judge of character over there, and I think it's because she understands Alicia is a taller athlete. She can shoot quite easily. But what she should have done is gone over under the sisters instead, maybe done the juke and the double back over there, and she would have got the evasion comfortably done.
Well, as things stand, Parkour 59 are set to have played their 3 matches, got on the board, got evasions in all of them, and lose all of them. But they are still in fighting. There's just a 1-point gap, and that was a nice little move through the loading bay.
Yeah, that was another little lovely shoot. Once again, we've seen that a lot here in the women's comp. A little error of judgment again by Alicia there. She should have been more over on the left-hand side on the perimeter boards if you're going to shoot through. I've made that mistake so many times, Dan. It's so easy to lose the point there.
Zoe comes in, probably the quickest member of this West Coast family team. Can she get hold of Asia, the team captain for Parkour 59? Looking to get them back on level terms. Waits under the sisters, decides to go back the way she came, and she's got the pace to get there, which is some going against Zoe. But that is superb work from Asia. She's dragged her team back to level.
on sait comment elle joue. Après, honnêtement, pour certaines d'entre nous, pour ma part, c'est le cardio qui manque. Je ne sais pas enchaîner plusieurs chases à la suite, mais j'ai confiance en mon équipe, ça devrait le faire.
I wonder if we're going to see something change over here, changing the balance of the scales.
Well, I'll tell you what is changing. West Coast family are calling on Amelia, who've been ruled out through injury, and they're sending her in. Desperate times call for desperate measures for West Coast family, who've been pegged back in this game. And Amelia, I mean, she's moving okay, but no, she isn't. No, this is not going to work out for West Coast family. They are so desperate. And I think maybe they've suffered another injury in their team. It's hard enough winning with a full roster, but having to rely on injured players is not going to work, and Parkour 59 take the lead.
Honestly, Dan, I would put someone slightly fresher than, or slightly more knackered than someone injured onto the team right now. That was such an important tag, and she missed it.
Well, there you see Zoe Hopkins on the floor. They have suffered another injury. They are dropping like flies, West Coast family, and having led in this game. There's a attempt there from Alicia, but she doesn't make contact, and Parkour 59 are showing no mercy. No mercy at all. As the little Benny Hill around the tilted cube, and then off she goes, or the loading bay, and sets off, and it now becomes 4-2. There is no mercy being shown, and Parkour 59 are saying merci beaucoup as they set themselves up for the victory.
I think we can set that one to bed. Unfortunately, in this situation, there's so much going on in your head, it's hard to keep your cool and it's hard to think about your strat. All you're thinking about is trying to catch that player in front of you, and you've got to change up your game if you want to pull back.
Well, this is to win it. And it's Elizabeth Hopkins, one of the few players who aren't booking a trip to the hospital or the doctors at the end of this. Trying to keep West Coast family alive, but Parkour 59 are set to wrap this up, because Asia, the team captain, is jogging round the outside and jogging towards a 5-2 victory, and that's exactly what they've done. A brave and battling performance from a depleted West Coast family roster, but Parkour 59 sign off with a victory and take third spot. Tough on West Coast family.
Yeah, but well done for pulling it through with 3 players in the beginning half of that match. But I gotta say, that pivotal moment of sending on Amelia while injured, that cost them the game.
Well, Parkour 59 take third place. It might be big for them, but there's an even bigger matchup coming up.
We are approaching the final game in the women's division, the title decider. We knew that these two teams had finished in the top 2 in the group. That would set up a final, but they've chatted between themselves, they've chatted with the tournament organisers, and they've decided we don't want to play a dead rubber. We want this to be the decisive game. Sensible decision, Greg.
Yeah, definitely, Dan, especially when you're dealing with potential injuries and potential things which can not only wreck your career, but wreck another potential match coming up there. So for me, it was a good decision to make. It raises the standards and it raises the stakes, and that's what I'm here for.
And it means it is all on the line in this final group game, the final effectively. Urban Core Nano versus Kimeo Volt.
In our team we have very different way of playing. It's just a question of spirit, a question of feeling. We just think let's play the best we can play as we would do with everybody else.
We have plans, I can't say that, but Eva has really good slides and Mario has really good dives, so we will have to be careful about that.
Urban Core Nano, who have blasted through to this final group stage game with Leia Marionette, Miley's Blasco doing a lot of the heavy lifting, 9 evasions between the pair of them. They look untroubled so far in the tournament. But Kimeo, the team from Lyon, with Clémence and Eva, who've picked up 7 evasions between themselves, could they be a match for them, Greg?
Look, both teams have absolutely mastered tactics on the quad now. So I think it's going to become purely a case of who will we pairing. I'm looking to the captains and the managers over here to see who we're going to be sending out against who. I think anyone could take it at this point. It just depends on who has the better game tag now.
It is Urban Core Nano versus Kimeo Volt for the title here in Paris. A massive match, a clash of titans. And can Leia Marionette, the Urban Core captain, help lead them to victory? It'll be Miley's to start, who is their top evader so far, but she's on the chaser's plate. Ava in the white trousers, shimmying by the ridge, then going across the quad. Milese in close attendance, trying to open up an opportunity. Heads under the sisters. Thought like she might have her, but maybe she just took a little stumble or might have even knocked her head on the sisters there. But she's still going, trying to get there. As that's an opportunity, it slipped away in a stumble in the middle of the quad. It's a first point. It goes to Kimeo, and Ava's got another.
I was not expecting that, but it looked like Milese just clipped her shoulder as she came underneath the sisters over there, Dan. And look, that's enough to make you fumble and throw you off your game entirely. And that's why it becomes a game of quad experience and court IQ.
Well, Ava getting Kimeo off to a perfect start. But in comes the team captain for Urban Core, Leia. She has looked so threatening as she gets up on those bars by the tilted cube and tries to force an opportunity and does force an opportunity, and it's one she takes.
Yeah, I was going to say desperation coming through from Leia over there, but I think she knew exactly what was going on. Look, nice and early tag, and that's exactly what Leia wants. She wants to keep herself nice and fresh to try and claw back that 1-0 disadvantage that they've somehow gone into this with.
Well, it falls to Andrea to try and stop Leia. She has managed to score a number of evasions in this tournament already, and at times looks totally untroubled. And that little move under the front line is one she's used, but it doesn't work out for her because Andrea manages to track her down.
Dan, I was chatting to Kimeo Volt before we went into this match over here, and they were saying that they have planned their anti-strategy against Leia. They know exactly how she plays based on previous competitions, and we are seeing that being executed now.
Well, it's one thing thinking you know how they're going to play. Stopping an athlete like Leia is a different prospect, but they've done it once. As Fanny Le Tourferry comes in for Urban Core. Andrea using all that cover at the back of the quad. The tilted cube provides the best cover there is. The loading bay has got some as well as she shimmies around. Fanny just can't find a way to create the chance. And there goes Andrea, and the lead has doubled, and this is quite a start for Kimeo Volt.
Fanny just fannying around a bit too much over there. Unfortunately, not quite making that. We were talking about aggression earlier on here. It seems like she's a bit too slow and cautious and controlled. She's not quite good. It's almost as if she doesn't feel like know how big of a match this is.
Yasmin comes in for Urban Core. Jumps up onto the top of the ridge, but does not bear fruit. Now staying in the center of the quad, trying to find a way through, and she has found a way through, but she gets tangled up in the bars. It does not matter, she recovers well.
That was almost another loss over there. And do you know what? If it was me, I would put Yasmin in before Fanny went on. She's clearly a stronger player. Maybe they wouldn't have been 1-0 down over here. Oh, sorry, 2-0 down as we came onto this match over here, but well done for following through, getting the tag under the sisters. Now you got a big couple of matches ahead.
Kimeo turned to Ava once again. Stamps on that platform, just trying to scare out the evader. But she's away, and that's real pace from Yasmin, who goes under the mountain. She's not looking where her chaser is, and she nearly ran straight into her. But she was looking there, only to see her come straight through the loading bay and make the tag.
That was a phenomenal shoot through the loading bay there, Dan, and you hit the nail on the head. Yasmin just wasn't quite looking where Ava was going to be, and Ava capitalized on that, forcing Ava to the back of the loading bay where we've seen all of these shoot tags being made so far.
Oh, and that looks like maybe an injury for Yasmin. We'll see how that develops as Leia comes back in for Urban Core. Looking to turn this game around. Steps through the ridge, but then forces her out cross quad. And look at this through the tilted cube and a slip. That was a slip there for Leia, and it just allowed Ava to get away, but not for very long because the pace across the center of the quad allows Leia to get the tag.
Both athletes putting their bodies on the line over here. Desperation from Leia after that slip, and a slip through from Ava. Both athletes on it. But look at how she just powers down and secures the tag at the back near the table on the ridge.
Well, it is captain versus captain. Marior comes in for Kimeo, and she forces Leia into that open space by the front line, but not for very long. She goes around the loading bay, through the mountain, keeps that speed up, very impressive. Now the sisters, and she's in a bit open play there, and Marior can't take advantage. There might have been an opportunity there, but Leia was just too quick, and a dive underneath the mountain. Nearly gets there, doesn't get there, and Urban Core are coming back into this.
That was so ridiculously close, Dan. Ava holding on and clutching out until the last second, but Leia, with that superior skill, just going through and making the successful evasion. Look at this.
Oh,
Reaches
my
the
word.
desperation. I said they're putting their bodies on the line, Dan, and we're seeing it now.
Well, Andrea managed to get hold of Leia earlier on in this. She's receiving some instruction from Ava. Does she think that she is the kryptonite to Leia's superhuman effort so far? Well, maybe she is. Maybe she's got a number because she's got a tag again.
And it's exactly where all of her other tags have been made, Dan. It's forced the player underneath the mountain and utilize that slightly more open barred area to shoot through. Check it out over here. Forces her back under the mountain where she knows Leia's going to have to slow down and utilizes that time to shoot through a penguin slide to success.
Wow. Leia not looking as dangerous in this final as she has done all the way through this tournament. In comes Mylease, who has been a real gun, a real weapon for this Urban Core team, and Andrea can't get away.
Same thing again, it's almost that Andrea did not learn from her previous success over there. But obviously it's very hard to do these things when the chaser is reverse herding you into certain areas on this quad, Dan. And both of these teams have incredible amount of experience on the quad. It's very, very impressive to see.
Look at the focus. Look at the determination. Kimeo have this lead. They do not want to let this slip. But Mylease could rip it from their hands, but not like that, because she is caught by the loading bay. Superb work there from Clemence.
Excellent words of wisdom from Ava there. I know we didn't hear what was going on, but you can tell that was last-minute motivation and strat, and it worked. Clem stepping in, getting the job done, executing perfectly.
Yasmin back into the action. An Urban Core in a position they have not been in all tournament, trailing. And look at the pace from Yasmin. Real power, real pace. But can she get the opportunity? She's got her in the corner. She's got her in the corner. She threatens to go one way around the bar. She goes the other. But just gets her. What, with 3 seconds left? You were waiting and waiting and waiting for the move. It had to come at some point. It did, and in the end, it was effective.
Yasmin made a good decision there by waiting until she was confident that she could make that tag. She could have shot at any point from the lazy boy over there, but that might have ended up in an evasion, and she knows the stakes, Dan. She understands how much pressure is going on here.
Ava comes in for Kimeo, looking to preserve this lead. It is on a knife edge, and there's a slide through the tilt-to-cube and a swipe, and it makes contact. And Kimeo are just keeping Urban Core at arm's length.
Yasmin with a bit of attitude over there, not even going for the celebratory high five or hug. You can tell how serious they're both taking this. Look at that, just about scrapes it through. I gotta say, Ava is incredible at these threads right here, Dan.
It is match point, Kimeo. And it is Leia for Urban Core to save themselves, to preserve their chances of becoming the first ever French national champion. She goes under the mountain and reaches out. She doesn't make contact. She goes to the center of the quad. She can't get a chance. She's into the loading bay. Another dive, and a dive is made. Is it there? It is there, and she saved them. She saved them for now.
Saved them by the skin of her teeth, Dan. This is one of the closest matchups I've ever seen in World Chase Tag history, let alone the women's division. The American athletes across the pond better look out. They better start planning and prepping to try and stop the dominant forces coming through here.
It remains match point though, and once again Kimeo turned to Andrea. She's managed to track down Leia twice before. Can she do it for a third time and seal the title? Leia Marionette, the Urban Core captain, all the way over on the other side of the quad, but Andrea is allowed to power across it to try and force an opportunity. Can she do it? Under the sisters. That is a problem, not for Leia. She speeds around the front line. And there's a dive! Oh no! It's distraught Leia Marionette! A joy for Kimeo! They have beaten Urban Core! They are the champions! And Andrea Quesney, like a heat-seeking missile, has found Leia not once, not twice, 3 times in this final to win it for them.
And credit where credit's due to this Kimeo team. They have prepped their plan and they have put in the work into not only chasing down Leia, but chasing down the whole of the team, chasing down the whole of this French women's competition here, Dan. Amazing stuff. I'm blown away. They should be happy. Their male counterparts should be happy. Incredible stuff.
Urban Core came into this a highly fancied Leia Marionette. Might be one of the best, if not the best, women's chase tagger on planet Earth right now. And Andrea Quesney has shut her down in this final to help Kimeo Volt become the first ever national champions of France.
Some upsets, some confident wins in there, but what is shown, what we can lay rest is how far these women are pushing World Chase Tag across the globe, Dan. I'm excited to see how this continues.
Some brilliant stuff from all the athletes, particularly Leah Marionette from the Urban Core Collective. But Marion Manville with the trophy raised above her head. Kimeo Volt are the French national champions. You'll be seeing them at the World Championship as well. From me, Dan Dawson, from Greg Ball and Melanie Bouchard. We'll see you again. Au revoir.